G'day folks, it's Andy here from Aussie Homesteads. Just thought I'd give you a quick tour of the block and what's on it. It's quite a large block. Volcanic soil, red volcanic dust. So I'll give you a quick overview and round everywhere, and then we can show you the individual sheds. There's 11 different sheds, 12 if you count this big one. That's a 6x9 engineered shed. That's mostly for storage of equipment. Rainwater tanks. 5,000 litres feeds into 2,750 litres. The 2,750 litres then feeds into 3 intermediate bulk containers, or IBCs as they're better known as. They're 1,000 litres each, and there's 3 of them. You can see I've been drawing water off that one. And they're not drinkable, they're not potable, so they're not food grade IBCs. These 2 are food grade, and they're fed off of that big shed. Security camera up there that just records when anything moves, which is quite darn often up here, I can assure you. This is this is the outdoor toilet, Lulu Mark II we call it. It's just a composting toilet. Big fan, you can imagine how hot it gets up here. We're 5.5 hours inland from Sydney, so it's about 5 hours and 35 minutes from Sydney. Outdoor washing sink. That's for when people come up and stay. We have a lot of people up here. About Easter time there's about 22 people. It's the feed for the generator shed, which is over here, which is work in progress. Just about to have its doors put on now. That'll be where the 7.5 kVA will be, and that will feed the whole property basically. Wood trailer. Over there. There's going to be another cabin. Another 2,000 litres of fresh water. So we're actually holding what, 4,000, 6,000, about 8,000 litres of fresh water. This is the shower shed that I built some years ago. It's all solar powered. Nothing up. We don't have electricity up here. It was $100,000 to put electricity on. So sink, normal stuff. Pump down there. Gas bottle. Hot water system. Shower. Washing machine, 5 kilo, runs off of the small generator, which is good. Wash, well, probably once a month. That's the PA door to get into the big shed. You can see that it's piped from there into the tanks. Then from one tank it goes into the other tank, and from there it feeds out of the top of this tank. And this is an idea for anybody that wants to put IBCs in a line and how to fill them. It's just 80mm PVC pipe. It comes along here, and it goes into the first IBC right there, and that's a T, and that extends into the IBC by about 100mm. When that one's full, it cuts that pipe off, and the water flows into the next one. See how it runs into that one, and then from that one, it runs into that one. And if you keep going, you could put a line of IBCs, and you could have thousands of litres of water. Sitting on about 150 acres here. Not much bloody good for anything other than sheep, goats, flagpole, burn pile. Just show you around the off-grid property. This is completely off-grid. We're self-sufficient for water, never had a power bill. Just got the normal rates and stuff. Most of the valuable equipment, of course, is locked away. We'll start over this end because this is where we basically started with this big shed. There was nothing there. That was completely blank less than 8 years ago. And I've built all of that in the last 8 years. That's a big pile of metal that we're cutting up and recycling. Just a collection from all over the years. Trailers. This used to be the dog pound, where they used to keep the dogs. We got the trailer to go into town with, if the one that don't leave it in the city. Wood trailer, flat carrying trailer, firefighting trailer. An absolute must in Australia. We're on high fire danger at the moment. We've had some very, very extreme temperatures. 200 litres, always full. In there is a pump and all the hoses. So you could tow that behind a vehicle or the ATV. And one person could sit on the seat and feed the fire, water the fire. That's the camper trailer I take away with me. Made in 1969. It's actually an oldie, but it's a goodie. The canvas is in bloody good condition. I was really pleased when we bought this. because I want to take that off to the Pilliga Forest. Clothesline, trailer packed ready to go back to the city. So of course we rattle through gas bottles up here because everything's run by gas, such as the fridges. We've got three-way fridges. When the sun's not shining, we switch them over to gas. So tons of empty gas bottles, tons of 20-litre fuel containers. Went through 170 litres of fuel this trip. I've been up here 12 weeks now. Generator for service. Look, more bloody empty gas bottles. This is the trailer that lives at my place in the city when I'm not up at the bush, and I spend as much time up in the bush as I possibly can. I'll take you for a bit of a tour. This is our back area, as we call it. This trailer here contains one of the ATVs that lives in there. That's our backup ATV. This is the caravan called MCAT. We put this in about 7 years ago. Put a second roof on it. That's the outdoor share. I'll get to that in a minute. It has not only 80 litres of its own fresh water underneath, it has 200 litres of IBC water out the front, because I use this little mini washing machine. Tiny little thing, 140 watts, 240 volts, and it does most of my washing. I don't wash that much. I mean, you know, you wear the same t-shirt and a pair of shorts and you can't stand the smell of yourself. Just fill it up manually. I'll show you the little generator in a minute. That's the Polaris and the outdoor carport. So that comes off of our caravan here. Just there's a little warning between the two of them so you don't get wet when you come out. Going into the caravan, this is Mark and mine's caravan. And that's my bunk. And small inverters. They're only 300 watt, 600 watt peaks. And this has 4 batteries of its own. So it's actually self-sufficient for power with 2 100 watt panels on the roof. Everything's in containers because the mice here are just rife. They'll eat anything and everything. Don't leave the soap out. Don't leave the toothpaste out. They'll eat it. Mark's bunk. Air conditioning. Absolute must up here. We hit 38 degrees a week ago. And it hasn't cooled down much. We're on 27 today. That's in Celsius, of course. Not those that landed on the moon speak. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. You can look it up. 2 inverters in here. And this is actually switchable. We've made this so that there's power coming just off of the generator, which I'll take you for the tour of the generator shed at the moment. And we can also run it off of the massive inverter, which is in the power shed, and I'll show you the power shed. And we can switch it over to, well, I'm running it on both at the moment because I'm charging my computer. So I can switch that over to just this caravan, the power shed, and this caravan, or just the power shed. Cooking facilities in here. We don't cook inside the caravan for obvious reasons. Gas fridge, 3-way. It runs on 240, 12 volt or gas. Mostly we run them on gas. Bottle lasts about 6 weeks in winter, a bit less in summer. Morning cup of tea, sink, all the keys for everything. Everything here is key to lock. We don't have 750 different keys. All of these padlocks are all key to lock. All my goodies, tackle. Well, that's pretty much it for here. Stereo, hot water bottle for winter. Absolute bloody must when you get old to get arthritis. Trust me, you'll need it. Alright, this is coming back out of the caravan again. We were just over there at the big shed, and we went around this way. Now I'm under the carport. That's the Polaris 500cc. We've got two big quads up here. Full four-wheel drives. Need them up here. It gets really muddy. That's where I spend most of my time sitting and contemplating my navel. You'll notice that everything has fire extinguishers. We're extremely safety conscious. I needed it the other day because I had to put a small fire out. I'm drying mullein. Now, I've done a video on mullein. You can call it natural toilet paper. You can call it... It has a lot of uses. Have a look at the video that I made on mullein. And I dry that out. I take that back to the city. And that lot there is dried and chopped up. That's worth about $100. So I'll do 5 lots of that, and that'll pay for the petrol for this trip, because I've spent 220 litres of fuel this trip. That was for 12 weeks. That's running the generator almost every day. This is the power shed. That's the little Susie. That's an LT80, 2000 model. So it's 25 years old and never misses a damn beat. Anybody's thinking about getting one of those Suzuki 50s, do yourself a favour and talk yourself out of it and get an 80. You will never look back. You can restrict the accelerators on them so that you can train the kids up on them, and you can get kill switches from. Has its own little solar panel. Another air conditioner in the shed. This is going to be the games room. So we're going to set up the games bench there, and PlayStation and Atari and all the old stuff that we all thoroughly enjoy. This is the nerve centre, the power centre. This is where everything gets charged. Automatic timers on everything that's 12 volts. All of the walkie-talkies all come on at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Everything's basically self-sufficient. It's a bit of a mess in the wiring, but it is work in progress, and we have been playing with different types of batteries. For Australian conditions, don't use lead-acid batteries. They gas off too fast. We used to get about 5 years for a battery, and you'll notice that there's 1, 2, 3, there's 4 there now. And that all goes to that buzz bar there. And she's currently sitting at 13.8, which is marvellous. It's really, really good. So in here, there's that inverter. And that inverter, we can then power the washing machines or anything we want to. And if we plug that into there, we can actually power the other caravan that we were just in. So that's pretty much the nerve centre. Then, of course, there's all of the boxes of storage. You name it. It's like a mini hardware shop because we're 40 minutes out of the nearest big town, and it only has one small hardware shop, so we have a lot of supplies, like everything to do with gas fittings, everything to do with PVC pipe fittings, etc., etc. That's all the stuff for the ATV or side by side. I'll show you in a minute. Ratchet straps. There's UHF radios everywhere. We're operating all the time up here on UHF because we communicate with our neighbours across the road, and across the road is a massive, and I mean massive, over there, all the way across there, there's the main highway up the end of this road. We're about 1.3 kilometres off the road. And across the road, they've got 190,000 acres with 50,000 head of sheep on it. Quite an amazing number of sheep, but that's what they've been doing for, I think, their second or third generation. That's Carrie and Buster Morse. Unfortunately, Buster died a couple of years ago. He was in his late 80s. Man, talk about work, he could outrun me, and I'm only 60. That's looking back at the big shed. Burn pile, flagpole. This is the house block. I'll just take you for a quick whip around here. Driveway leading up to the top. This is just the bit that I keep mowed, and I try and keep the St John's wort. We have a lot of St John's wort here for the last, it's only been here for the last 8 or 10 years, but it's gone rife. So we've got to do a massive spray in November because that's when it's dormant. There's going to be a fence across this area here just to give it a bit of more privacy off the road more than anything. It's just something we're going to do. That's the spare room caravan. That's for the guests. That's the power shed we were just in. Massive tree. They call them widow makers. I'll explain that in another video. This is the extension on the caravan, and it's attached to the caravan. And it is the, well, at the moment, I'm sorting junk out. So it's where the pizza oven is, and the cooking oven, and filing cabinet with spare tins of food in it. We hold about 8 months supply of food up here. This is one of the showers. Pretty much has it's going to get a hot water system very, very shortly. Again, all solar powered, everything's wired through 12 volts, gas powered hot water system. Small sink for washing our hands. The only flushing toilet is for the females. The males don't use it. We use the first toilet that I showed you, the Lulu Mark II toilet. Basically coming back around again in this extension, you've got the guest house. I won't show you now, it's a bloody brothel at the moment. I've been doing maintenance for the last 12 weeks and cleaning because the last 4 years we just weren't able to basically come up to the farm. So we've been doing a hell of a lot of maintenance while I was here. Now we'll go along this way. I didn't show you Lulu, did I? Yeah, oh well. Show you another video. This is the outdoor workbench. That's Fred. Fred's our bird scarer. And he fools the neighbours. One of the neighbours pulled up and she looked at that and she thought, what the bloody hell's that massive owl sitting on the thing? Because his head bobs. So he looks very lifelike. That's Fred. He sort of keeps an eye on the joint. Coming back to that caravan again, now we'll move across to the workbench, which I just showed you. Massive heavy steel workbench. We do a lot of the welding and fixing of everything here. Outdoor power point. The power's all piped through PVC. This is all, remember this, guys, is all temporary because we're going to build tiny houses up here and link them all together with a massive veranda. But this is what we've been doing for basically the last 7, 8 years. We've actually had the block at 15 years. And we started with just that small shed. That was the very, very first shed we put up, other than the big green shed, which I just showed you before. That was the only thing here. And we had 2 bunks in there, and we used to camp in there. And we'd sit out here under the carport. This was a gazebo that I bought for a party, and we ended up just putting it out here and throwing some tarps on it, and I generally park the car under it. But at the moment, the Polaris is there because it won't damn start. Anyway, let's move on to the extension from the caravan. That's the caravan that I showed you that we sleep in and live in. Air conditioner outlet, gas cabinet. We run 9 kilos. $22 to fill a gas bottle, $36 to swap them if you're in the city. Up here it's $78.50 for a bottle of gas. Bloody ridiculous. Outdoor fire, we spend a lot of time out here in winter. Moving around, let's go back to pretty much where we were. This is the tool shed. Storage out the back, I'll get to that in a sec. This is the tool shed, so this is the back off of a van with a security roller door. Everything around here, you'll see there's padlocks everywhere. They're all padlocked and all keyed the same. In there is everything, nuts, bolts, chainsaws, you name it, it's in there. And we have maybe $8,000 to $10,000 worth of hardware that we're holding at any time. This is the kitchen shed. It's a big shed. And I'll take you for a quick little tour in here. So I've just finished doing the washing up. It's all 12 volts. You can see we've only got 12 volt lighting. But there is fluoros. And every time the generator comes on, those fluoros light up automatically. We don't need to do that. Filing cabinet, that's a must for when you've got mice. Mice cannot get into filing cabinets. Quick tip for you. If you don't want them to chew through your containers, get yourself some filing cabinets because they're mouse proof. And you can keep all of your sauces, condiments, cooking stuff, you name it, we got it. We're pretty self-sufficient. Should the zombie apocalypse come, we're pretty prepared. And we have been prepared for a very long time. Ice machine, that only comes on if the generator comes on. Cold drinks, I'm washing all the bottles because one of the can of Cokes decided to piddle everywhere. Washing up sink, again all 12 volt pumps. So you just flick the switch on, water runs. And of course there's another hot water system to go up. Here, another gas hot water system. Gas bottle sits down there. That's the pump under the sink. That's 12 volt. Everything, as I say, is self-sufficient up here. Bench, just done the washing up. Hate washing up. Barbecue, extractor hoods, they run off the 240 when the generator comes on. All the cooking utensils, dual batteries in here. They just sit here and charge. They're actually for the camping trailer. So when we take the camping trailer away, those 2 batteries power the camping trailer. Gas cooktop, gas 3-way fridge. We have 5 gas fridges. They're mostly made around 1960s, 1970s. This one's a 1970s model, Electrolux. Damn things never miss a beat, as long as you keep the gas up to them. They like the gas. So if you run them on low, that bottle will last about 6 weeks in winter, about 4 weeks in summer. Everything's in cabinets. You've got to keep the mice out of every damn thing. Alright, so moving back out of the kitchen, it's a pretty big building, you know, like it's bloody comfortable. Everything up here has been well thought out. It's just that we've now got to start neatening some wiring because we just put in temporary wiring. Let's go back outside again to that extension off of the caravan that I was explaining before. So we're back outside, just outside the kitchen. I built all of the 11 sheds that are here. I put them all up with 2 hands, all by myself. Yeah, I know, mad, eh? Anyway, there's 2 200-litre containers. And they'll eventually be fed off of the gutter up here into those containers. Almost everything building now, we're trying to get it's feeding into containers. That's where the effluent goes from the ladies' toilet, because we have 2 ladies and they like a flushing toilet. So we had to put one in, didn't we? So that will eventually fill up. And then we'll change the container out, wash it out, and put it all back in again. That's where the fence is going to go across the house block. So I'm panning across the back of the house block now. This is the southern end of the block. We're on a triangular shape. It's a very, up the back there is I've done videos on going up to Rocky Point. So as you go up to the back, it gets steeper. It's about 220 metres. We're 444 metres above sea level here. So on the way back down into towards Sydney, where I live in town with my wife. She stays at home most of the time. I come up here for as long as possible. As I say, I've just done 12 weeks. This used to be a little wood shed, but we converted it to a storage shed because we didn't need to keep the wood in here. Everything again is to try and keep the dust off everything, like you name it. We've got enough knives, forks, spoons and bloody cups to sink a ship. Only need to wash once a week. Filing cabinets, again, keep the mice out. They cannot get into filing cabinets. You'll notice little packets of rat sack everywhere because we get mouse plagues up here. This is another shed that we built, and this used to be the girl shed. I've got 2 young daughters who used to come up here in that little white quad bike that I showed you before. So there was 1, 2, 3, 4 bunks there, and they'd have all their friends up. They got their own power. When the generator's on, it's got its own light. The fluoro light up here, but they've got 12 volts in here plus inverted power, so they can run all their phones and whatever else, whatever the crap girls run. It's basically turned into a storage shed now. All of the girls' stuff is here. Oh, they talk about the toilet roll loss in 2020 when nobody could buy bog roll. We never had that problem. We have 860 toilet rolls at the block. With girls, you need a lot of toilet paper. That's all the stuff that belongs to the camping trailer. It's all in one spot. So we have a spare fridge, another 3-way fridge, 12 volt, 240, gas. There's a dedicated 12 volt fridge for the drinks, and that one we run as a freezer. It's gas 3-way again. All the water containers, etc., etc. So we'll move out of the girl shed. Now we'll come round to the itty bitty bit. Chainsaw cutting up bench. Put the wood on there, cut it up with the chainsaw, pile it up. Dartboard normally goes up there when the kids are up here. Now we're moving around to the back of the girl shed and the back of the kitchen. You'll notice there's 2 IBCs here, both 1,000 litres. That one is food grade, and it has a cover on it to keep the water from going green. This one's not food grade, it's just purely for washing up. But the amount of termites that we have up here is mind-numbing. We learned a valuable lesson a long time ago. Do not use normal pine, because they'll eat it. So 2 problems up here, well 3. Mice, ants, and bloody termites. But if you notice, when you get to the greener stuff, this stuff that's CCA 100, I think they call it, copper calcium arsenate or something or other, and they won't eat that. So treated pine, they don't touch it. So we've learned a valuable lesson. Don't use Oregon or pine. That's the food grade IBC. It's the last lot of rain we had 25 millimetres, and this was empty. I transferred this water from here to that goes to the washing up, so it goes through that hose. That's the outlet for the sink. So the sink that I was talking about before is just behind that wall. And that's the kitchen. And there's the tool shed around the corner and the storage shelf at the end. That's our caravan that I was talking about before. So we're moving up the block in the easterly direction. And that's the Crossfire 500 GT side by side. Absolute beast of a machine. Virtually indestructible. We've had it for 3 years now. It's had 1 service, holds 30 litres of fuel. 30 litres of fuel does about 5 trips. And it never misses a bloody beat, to be honest with you. If you're looking at get one of these side-by-sides, get one of these Crossfire GTs. We had the 250 and we traded it and got the 400cc. More ground clearance. Up here you need a lot of ground clearance. There's bloody great rocks sticking out. This is an igneous volcanic area, which I think I've explained in the Spire View video that I did, where I showed you the volcanic plug in the background. That is actually just over the top of the kitchen. Down that direction. You can just see the tip of it. So I did that video some time ago. Just have a look at the playlist. It's there. This massive shed is the Crossfire storage shed. I'll get to that in a second. Let's go to the generator room. This is the last one. I've been up here 12 weeks and I put this shed up by myself. It took me 3 days. Again, we paid nothing. We paid nothing for any of the sheds. Pick them up off Marketplace. Down on treated pine. And this is actually the fuel storage. It might be dark in here because I haven't got any lights in here. Right, extra gas bottles. There's normally 16 gas bottles that we hold at any time on the farm. Actually 17 now. There will be firewood down here, so this will be a firewood, gas, fuel storage shed. It's way away from everything else. So if this goes up, if we get bushfires, which we get quite often, 2015 was absolutely bloody scary because we were up here. And we were surrounded by fires, literally surrounded. We couldn't get out. We use fridges for storing fuel. The reason we use fridges is because you can pick them up at the side of the road. They cost nothing. But the idea is to try and keep the fuel a constant temperature. So in there we hold 60 litres of unleaded. And on this side, because one of our cars is diesel, we hold 60 litres of diesel plus all of our oils for oil change. We do regular oil changes. Generator gets an oil change about every 40 hours. Chainsaw, oils, etc, etc, etc. So this is I've only just finished this less than a week ago. I'm heading back to the city tomorrow, and then I'm back up in June, and then I'm back up in September. I'm going to do another 12 weeks. So I did a little gutter from here, and it feeds into this 260 litre container, and it has dual outlet. I use that for water in the orchard, which I'll show you in a minute. They're just rudimentary gutters that I've just made out of PVC. I slotted the PVC and then slid it onto the roof, and then fed the pipe down into here, and it's got a little filter in here to keep the pine needles out, because we're bloody rotten with pines up here. There's scrappy pines, they're called. And it's absolutely rotten with them. And everywhere you look, there's bloody pine trees. But that's what we like about it, and that's why we call the property Lone Pine, because there's one little lonely pine at the end of the driveway. But it is chockers. So we're still at the eastern side of the block, eastern side of the house block. This is the generator shed. So mower storage. There's normally a 2.5 kV ebb. That's the one I showed you that was in the trailer that's going home for a service. That normally sits there, and they're all ported to outside. So you'll notice that is the Honda. If you're going to buy a generator, buy a Honda. If it doesn't start, you forgot to turn the flame and fuel on it. They start first time every time. We've had this for 9 years now. Never missed a beat. 4.5 kVA, big enough to run 2 air conditioners, which it does. But you'll notice that I've piped them to outside for the carbon monoxide. So they're actually piped. This pipe just pokes into the muffle in there and just sits around the outlet. And that's about 40mm water pipe. Goes out there through that vent, and then there's fans to push the fumes out there. So this generator shed stays a little bit cooler. They like to run cool. Fuel, hoses, spare 4-wheel drive tyre, trimming equipment, backup water pump. There's one in the fire trailer. That's a backup. Honda water pump. That's the one we kept that we use because that will start first time every time. Whippersnippers, mowers. We use a lot of cordless stuff up here. Everything up here is basically run by batteries. Just Ryobi gear. Good stuff. I don't like everything in the Ryobi range, but I love their little mowers. That thing does about half the house block on one big 8 amp hour battery. Back to the Crossfire GT again. I've just finished building the orchard. Quite proud of that. I've put in about 16 plants. That's the fuel storage shed that I've just put up. This is the temporary orchard. I'll try and pan back a bit for you. Give you an idea on the size of it. So that's the gate. I just put that up last week. And it's going to go up there, up the hill, and then back down to the corner of the shed again. I've been playing with different plants for a while now, and I've planted quite a lot of plants this time. And in there is aloe vera, sweet potato, mulberry, white mulberry, that one, not a blackberry, not a black one. Banana, bloody goats ate that right down to the stump, but it's come back again, thank heavens for that. Pineapple, remember these don't get any water other than the ones that are water hungry. I use a 20-litre container, and I drill a tiny little hole in the bottom of the lid because it's lying on its side, and then put a stainless steel screw in it. And you can control the flow of water. So for the next 6 weeks till I'm back again, they'll be fed with water. These are very water hungry, these two. The old lemon, Valencias, orange trees, they don't care. They'll grow anywhere. Particularly, there's very few things grow in this soil. That's why we're experimenting with different types of oranges, mandarins, lemons. There's a thornless blackberry there. It'll grow right around the perimeter eventually. Been cutting some posts because I want to put chain mesh fence around this to keep the bloody kangaroos out because they'll eat anything and everything. So I didn't even use the gate, did I? Ain't that cool? Just a whole bit of pool fencing. I picked it up at the side of the road. As I pick up most things at the side of the road. Couple of hinges, gate latch, bingo, got yourself a gate. We're at the back of the ATV shed now. That's where that Crossfire lives in it. Turmeric plants, or turmeric, however you want to pronounce it. That's just if anything goes wrong and we get to the farm, you need to season meat. You've got to have something to flavour meat, because you can get meat, but meat's pretty boring when it comes from a kangaroo or it comes from a goat. You like to flavour the meat, and turmeric is bloody marvellous for that. This is our first very experimental olive tree, and we're going to plant 36 olive trees, but I'll explain that in a minute. That's the outdoor spa bath and the outdoor area, and then that's looking back over at our caravan, the extension, the Aeon shed, which is a high sun 4-wheel drive ATV, back to the camping area. So this area we try and keep it a little bit clear because of the bushfire danger, because the bushfires can come down from the east, which is why those two sheds are completely separate. We think it's far enough away. Wood supply for the outdoor fire. We're back at the caravan again. There's the power shed, tool shed. I'll take you to the ATV shed in a minute. We built that not long ago. It was last year, actually. Wood supply for winter outside. There'll be an inside wood supply. This is a little outdoor shower that we built. This 100-litre tank came from Aldi. 100-litre food grade tank. And it feeds into a little pump down there and up to a shower head up there, because when it's stinking hot, you can come out here and have a quick shower and cool down and go and lie back on the bed with the air conditioning on. that feeds the water tank into our caravan. This is extension. So you come out and have a little shower. I've just built a retractable roof for it, which is up here, and that retracts that way. And that way, if you want to fill this container with manual 20-litre containers, you can get in here. Switch up there for the shower. So we put a top on this caravan. I'll explain that in a sec. We'll go back out here again. So that's our little shower area. It's quite nice out there. You just wander out there, have a quick shower. When we did the first caravan, we wanted to put a second roof on it and raise it, because I'm 6'3", and my best mate Mark, he's only 5 foot bugger all. So we put an extension on top of it. So it's actually got, we took the canvas out. It was one of those pop-top ones, and had the cross arms in it, and the windows and bloody canvas, but the canvas was rooted. We picked this up for nothing. We just towed it up on the car trailer. We have a car trailer that lives down at the city. So we put a second roof on it, and that way we can collect water into that tank that's sitting on the A-frame. So there, they're all pretty, everything we're trying to get is gutted to some kind of container. I've only just finished putting the gutter on this one a couple of weeks ago, and that will just collect water off of this one side. We don't need to collect water off the other side because there's a door there, and you can't use this piping system. So you see how I just put a slit in the 80mm PVC and then clip it onto the roof, and then screw it up into the tin from underneath and put some elastic around it. And that's tilted this way. So on the end of this building will be another little 200-litre water tank. Probably one of those blue ones, I think. Not really happy with the olive drum. It's not flat on the bottom and it rocks. This is the ATV storage shed. These are where the fun machines are. We love these things. Honestly, these are great. If you can get your hands on a 1999 250cc LT Suzuki 3-up, 1 down and reverse, semi-automatics. These things are a bloody hoot. That's a 1999 model, the house mower, and the same 1999 model. These things do not have limited slip diff, they are skid steer. So down that direction, in the westerly direction, all the water runs down the block. We're coming up the hill, so we're coming this way, and it's come running down to the bottom of the creek down the bottom. There's 2 creeks actually. We've got one on the right-hand side of us, and one on the left-hand side of us, and they go all the way to Binnaway and Mudgee. ATV storage stuff, camping trailer, storage, solar blankets. Get yourself one of these things. Bloody marvellous. It's a 6-panel, 300 watt. It's either 250 or 3, I can't remember, but it might be 200 watt. It's got its own MPPT controller and cables. Everything around here is Anderson plug, so you just Anderson plug it into that caravan. You can Anderson plug it into the power thing. You can power the camping trailer. It has those 2 batteries I showed you in the kitchen. All of this stuff is camping stuff, plus Suzuki spares. We had 3 of these Suzukis. We had another one which we called Mad Max. It was basically just a skeleton, didn't have any plastics on it. We eventually stripped it down and kept it for parts for these 2 because we're trying to keep these 2 running. These haven't run since the kids were last up here, and they're all grown up and at uni now. For the camping trailer, this is the little generator. It's a 750 watt 4-stroke. Just a Ching Chong brand. It's not bloody named or branded. I don't promote any brand. I just buy whatever's bloody cheap. This little thing that runs that little washing machine that I showed you outside the A-frame of our caravan. That's one of those companion gas systems that use those little expensive as buggery bottles. $13 for those. So we've now got an adapter. We fill them off the 9 kilos. But we can basically pick all that up, put it in the car, hitch up the camping trailer. It's got its own 80-litre water tank in it. And you can go camping. I go to the Pilliga quite often, which is 40 minutes from here. But we've had a lot of bushfires up there. We lost 2,750 acres up there in the last 3 weeks. The amount of temperatures up here have just been bloody ridiculous. We've hit, and at this time of the year, you think about it, we're in March and we're still hitting 37 degrees. So you can imagine what it's like up here at Christmas time at the peak of our summer. We've hit, the hottest we ever got was 50.5 Celsius. We will pipe all of these sheds to the IBCs. They're the trees that I've cut down to make posts, and I've cut the rest up for firewood. Back to the tool shed again, and that's pretty much it, guys. So that's just a quick overview of what it's like to be up here by yourself. I mean, I'm up here by myself this time. I didn't come up with Mark. His wife's been sick, so I came up by myself. I spent 12 weeks up here and loved it. We can't have fires at the moment. We're on extreme fire danger. Everything's dry. Basically one match to go up like a bloody bomb. But it's a beautiful area. If you like being on your own, peace and quiet, I'll just listen to the sound. What do you hear? Bloody nothing. That's right. That's what we want. I was explaining about the mud bowl before. down in that little area down there, it runs into there and it's like a little mini dam, and it's like 7 inches of water, and we just churn it up with the Suzukis. We've had a ball up here with those Suzukis. They are a screw. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Don't think I showed you Lulu Mark II. Oh, yes, I did. And it's basically just a drop toilet. So that's about it for this time, guys. We're doing improvements all the time, but one day we're hoping to put cabins up here. So all this will be gone. Probably onto another property. Going to look at buying one at the other side of Coonabarabran, a little place called Barradine and Rocky Glen. They have some lovely little blocks of land up there. About 140,000 for 15, 20 acres type thing. This one was just bought on a whim. It was cheap as chips. You know, nobody wanted to move out here. Now there's 3 blocks across the road, 3 massive blocks that have all been sold, and there's people sort of happy wanderer campers come up for the weekends and whatever else. But most of the time I'm up here, it's all by myself. And I love the peace and solitude of it. So there's a quick report from, well, not a quick report, it's just a long report, but I did try and explain as much as possible that you can be self-sufficient if you want to be self-sufficient. Play around with the batteries. Play around with gels, play around with lead acids. Personally, I like golf cart batteries. Trojan RT, I think they're 107s, have proven themselves over the last 30 years of golf carts. You think about how much a golf cart runs every day on those batteries. So they're the next ones we're going to be experimenting. We're going to get 10 golf cart batteries and link them all together. Everything in there is all linked together. It's not in parallel or any of that stuff. It's just bung them all together, mate, and draw off them. So there you go. That's a bit of a tour around. We love it. It's an absolute bloody ball. If my wife eventually she wants to stay in the city, I think. She wants to be with the grandkids. So I'm probably going to end up either here or somewhere on a block of land out near Barradine or somewhere like that. But that's an update from Aussie Homesteads. Hope you enjoyed that. If you got any questions, just bung them in the comments. I'm only too happy to answer any questions you got. So even if you're thinking about doing it, basically, people, sell your shit and move out to the country. Get you as far away from the city as you can, because the city will eventually catch us up here. We're going to have to move further out. So instead of 4.5 hours from Central Coast and 5.5 hours from Sydney or whatever, we're going to have to move 10 hours out because they're moving this direction. This area is growing quite rapidly. So there you go. I'm going to sign out, and hope I didn't bore you to tears with any details. But as I say, got any questions, just throw them in the comments and I'll answer them. So Andy from Aussie Homestead signing out. I'll talk to you soon.